Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Within the tower, Luo Feng controlled the metal book and flew it back towards the group of Undyings. Has your majesty completely memoized it? The leading green-skinned Lady Undying said with a hoarse voice. Luo Feng nodded. The 12 Undyings nodded back at Luo Feng and became a blur, all vanishing. Let's go. Luo Feng turned and said. Your majesty seems very happy. Dylan said as he walked beside. My rewards have been huge. Luo Feng smiled. The elder Saifan Chi, who was beside him, was immediately happy too. Whether it was studying the sacred tablet or the manual, they were all extremely valuable. However, for the Goldhorn race to let Luo Feng study them for free, this was definitely an investment. The higher Luo Feng's rewards, then when Luo Feng becomes the upper echelon of humanity, he would naturally remember this. If Luo Feng was an ingrate and chooses to forget this favor later, then the Goldhorn race couldn't do anything either. It was purely an investment. The tall entrance of the technique tower was open for long periods. Luo Feng and his group walked out. Another bunch of hot-headed Goldhorn race youths. Luo Feng glanced outside at the group of Domain Lord Level 9 youths, after which he was shocked. That's strange, why aren't they challenging me? Usually these youths, the moment they spot me, they would passionately challenge me. Hua. The thousands of Domain Lord Level 9 youths that were gathered there naturally separated, revealing two black-skinned youths. Bei Chuang. Luo Feng immediately recognized one of them. His gaze then landed on the other black-skinned youth beside, who gave off an aura of pride, similar to Bolin. Most of the lonely invincible absolute geniuses all gave off this aura. That youth beside Bei Chuang looks a lot like him. Is he the legendary Bei Chiu, his bigger brother? Your Majesty Luo Feng, that is Bei Chiu. The elder communicated. Bei Chiu was dressed in a purple armor. His gaze was cold as he stared hard at Luo Feng, who was standing at the stairs of the tower. His voice had a hint of evil as he said, Human Luo Feng. I heard you defeated my little brother Bei Chuang. You do indeed have some strength. I, Bei Chiu, today officially challenge you before the technique tower. Do you dare accept my challenge? The thousands of Goldhorn youths all stared at Luo Feng. Bei Chiu's gaze had evil as well as pride. Luo Feng glanced at him. Let's go. Luo Feng said, after which he dodged the thousands of youths and headed far away. This made the elder, Dylan and the rest of his group all stunned. The thousands of youths too were stunned. The human Luo Feng actually ran from the battle. Humans shunning their battles was a very normal thing. However, Bei Chiu, that was the #1 Domain Lord genius of the Goldhorn race. Even if Luo Feng didn't dare battle him, he'd at least have to show some respect. Human Luo Feng. Bei Chiu's eyes gleamed coldly as he roared fiercely. Luo Feng continued walking far away and not stopping. Do you not dare? Are you afraid? Bei Chiu roared angrily. Defeating my brother is nothing. If you defeat me, I dare say no Domain Lord Level 9 in our entire Goldhorn race will challenge you again ever. And if you don't accept my challenge, our Goldhorn race will never submit to you. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the rest of the group through the pathways. He couldn't be bothered with Bei Chiu's roars. Your Majesty. Dylan looked curiously at Luo Feng. I don't wish to fight him. Luo Feng shook his head and said. Before, when you rejected the other youths, that was fine. But, rejecting Bei Chiu, he is after all the most exceptional of the Domain Lords. If you don't defeat him, countless clansmen won't submit to you. Instead, they will say that you bullied the weak and are afraid of the strong. Dylan said. Of course, if you don't have any guarantee, then you'd probably lose after accepting the fight. It is indeed a good idea not to accept. Dylan, what are you going on about? Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. Right? Knowing his background and growth, naturally everybody would think he wasn't a match for Bei Chiu. However, after reaching Sector Lord and studying the tablet for a month, his law comprehension alone had reached passing the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge. The moment he unleashed his over 3,200 spirit energy amplitude, along with his natural ability strength and the blood river energy, his strength would multiply absurdly. Defeating Bei Chiu. Luo Feng was incredibly confident. However, the moment he defeated Bei Chiu, firstly the virtual universe company's information system would know immediately, and with Dylan and his teacher Tru Yang's relationship, his teacher would know too. His win over Bei Chuang, he could still use his blood warrior identity and special encounters to explain. However, defeating Bei Chiu would be much harder to explain. The many geniuses of the universe over the history of humanity have had explosive improvements due to miraculous encounters. If I were to reveal my strength, the virtual universe company would definitely conclude that I've stumbled upon some incredible miracle. Luo Feng thought. Seems right. My Demon Note inheritance in Demon Note Mountain had raised my spirit energy amplitude over 3,200. It is indeed a super miracle. In terms of origin law comprehension, he was only at the 9th level. With the amplitude over 3,200, that was his true trump card over defeating Bei Chiu. If I can avoid it, it's better not to reveal myself. My Demon Note inheritance was after all an unintentional swiping of Mist Emperor's slot. Luo Feng thought. It's better to remain low-key and train for a few hundreds of years. Even if my strength explodes then, it wouldn't draw too much attention. Luo Feng and the group returned to the training quarters. Dylan, Elder Sai Fan Chi, I'll be studying in isolation for a while to organize my studies from the manual. After which I'll leave from here. Luo Feng said, after which he entered the room. He had studied the sacred tablet and acquired the manual. All the benefits had been received. It was time to leave. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within, recalling the Nanshan 36 levels and their details. Simultaneously he sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe network, beginning to train within his own villa's training grounds. To study, to attempt, and to confirm. Then combine the beast god statue and the ancient pictures together and study. When training a manual, one had to approach it with consideration of which was the best way to study it before beginning. This was similar to the saying, if the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed. Luo Feng was currently sharpening his axe to ensure that when he began training, it would be at the optimum condition. In the blink of an eye, it had been 3 months. The requirements are actually so high. Practicing with normal blades is indeed much higher, however this unique training method by Shiluo Duo actually has such origin law study effects. Of course, when one constructs one's own weapons and techniques, and when one uses these to attack, it's indeed awesome. Luo Feng smiled and got up. Next time, I'll approach this manual with the mindset of constructing techniques. After which he left the study and walked out. This manual had many paths of training. Any path could lead far, as Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude was very high, he had decided on the hardest technique construction angle to study it. As he walked into the yard, many silhouettes swiftly appeared. Elder Sai Fan Chi. Luo Feng said. I'm about to head out immediately to the Doyen Palace, and thank them and say my goodbyes. The Doyen Palace has been a great help to me this time, allowing me to study and picking any manual I want. I cannot just leave without saying goodbye. The elder smiled and nodded. Before leaving the sacred city, you should go visit the Doyen Palace. However, Your Majesty Luo Feng, you should know something. What's up? Luo Feng was curious. The elder looked at Dylan beside him. Dylan smiled and said, outside, over these 3 months that you've been studying, there have been many Goldhorn race clansmen that have taken residence outside. Obviously, after you rejected Bei Chiu, a lot of them have been very dissatisfied. Very many. Luo Feng was shocked, he didn't even feel anything. In order to not disrupt your study, I created a space void of noise around your room. Dylan said. Thanks. Luo Feng nodded. It's not just a huge bunch of Goldhorn race clansmen that have come and expressed their anger, even that genius Bei Chiu, over these 3 months, he's been sitting crossed-legged outside on the pathway. Dylan said. Luo Feng was stunned. He's been sitting there outside our entrance for a full 3 months, not even moving. Dylan forced a smile. Hence even now, there are over 10,000 Goldhorn race clansmen sitting crossed-legged outside. Luo Feng was stunned. Let's go. Luo Feng said. Outside. Dylan and the elder looked at him. No. Luo Feng shook his head. I don't care about them, we'll fly straight to the Doyen Palace. Sacred land, the pathways outside Luo Feng's training quarters were completely filled with large amounts of Goldhorn race clansmen sitting crossed-legged. And right at the main entrance sat the purple-armored black-skinned youth Bei Chiu. He sat there crossed-legged with his eyes closed. A beam of light shot out of the quarters and swiftly flew away. They are flying away. The human Luo Feng is amongst them. They actually just flew away. Over 10,000 Gold Horn race clansmen all began to stir, getting up together, and gazing at the distant skies. There the beam of light had disappeared into the distance, they all began to get enraged. Bei Chio opened his eyes and looked on coldly at the scene, his eyes almost burning with flames. He muttered softly to himself, "Human Luo Feng, you coward." Rumble. He became a beam of light, and headed towards the Doyen Palace. His brother and those with them followed. When Luo Feng was stirring waves on Laos world amongst the Gold Horn race group, in a distant desolate region, within the universe country, within a black silent space, without any stars or planets, only the occasional space debris, there was a layer of space that sat within. In this vast majestic God country, an endless gold continent rose, in a grass patch and forest, there lived many humans with many technologically advanced constructs. Amongst them, hundreds of billions of humans were scattered throughout the cities, within every city there was a godlike statue. Countless people came to worship this god. The part where humans lived was but a small portion of this entire god country. Over 30 million kilometers away from their living regions, within an extremely tall mountain that reached over 1,000,000 kilometers, there was a shrine at the very peak, gleaming gold. The shrine itself was over 100,000 kilometers tall, and there were many silhouettes within. Within the shrine, many huge bug soldiers in all shapes and sizes walked within the shrine. One could even occasionally see gold bug soldiers, undying bugs. Other than these, there were many humans in white robes, gold robes and armor. They often crossed paths, but seemed like it was nothing. In the highest level of the shrine, a bug clan mother nest over 10 kilometers tall sat in the center. It was surrounded by a large amount of gold bug soldiers. With a glance, there were more than 10,000. Master. 3 gold-robed humans were surrounded by large amounts of the soldiers. They however immediately bowed respectfully. "Why have you called me?" A gentle voice, almost like that of an absolute beauty speaking, resounded throughout the hall. "Master." The leading gold-robed man said respectfully. "An undying stationed within the Gold Horn race's Laos world has sent some news. The human Luo Feng is currently in the sacred city of Laos world." "Number 9. A gentle voice answered. "Yes." The leading gold-robed man said, "And another thing, number 9 Luo Feng's strength improvement is very shocking. He publicly defeated a domain lord level 9 genius of the Gold Horn race Bei Chuang. That Bei Chuang had law comprehension levels akin to the human's passing of the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge. And Luo Feng barely had the ability to pass the 8th during the first qualification battles. Is there footage?" The gentle voice asked. "That battle was public, there's plenty. The Undying has sent over footage along with his message." The man pointed into the air and immediately a projection appeared that replayed Luo Feng's entire battle with Bei Chuang. The entire footage, Bei Chuang was subduing Luo Feng. Finally, Luo Feng unleashed his attack on Bei Chuang and defeated him. After finishing the footage, Human Virtual Universe Company, Universe Level Geniuses, there's only one that reached the 8th level of the Heavenly Bridge. The gold-robed man said. And Luo Feng, in these short decades, his origin law comprehension has already surpassed the strongest universe level genius. According to these speeds, in the qualification battles of the domain lords a few hundred years from now, he would probably be able to remain in the primal region. His improvement speed is too shocking. In the history of humanity, only the most exceptional from over trillions of eras would there occasionally be such an absolute genius. A gentle voice ordered, "Raise his grade, make him number 3, the other targets will move back." "Yes." The gold-robed man complied. "Also order the Undyings on Laos world, get one of them to make a move." The gentle voice said. "If he can kill Luo Feng, sacrificing one normal Undying doll is nothing. However, the number of our bug clan hidden in Laos world is simply too few. We can at most reveal one Undying, we cannot sacrifice more. If he cannot succeed, we just have to wait patiently." "Yes." The gold-robed man said respectfully. "I'll immediately give the order to the Ganwu Universe Countries Department members, and to the Gold Horn race members. Go." The gentle voice said. 3 gold-robed warriors bowed simultaneously and left. In the side regions of the Ganwu Universe Country, Universe Secret Regions Laos World. Sacred City. Within a quiet living quarters. Kill Luo Feng, regardless of cost. A Gold Horn race Undying in stone grey armor sat there, muttering to himself, regardless of cost, regardless of cost. His eyes suddenly opened and his blood-red eyes gazed coldly ahead. Luo Feng. The Goldhorn race undying muttered softly. Elder, elder. A Goldhorn race youth rushed in from outside, shouting, we just received news that the human genius Luo Feng has ignored Bei Qiu's challenge, and has flowed straight from his living quarters to the Doyen Palace. That Luo Feng is seriously a coward, he's so afraid that he won't even battle Bei Qiu. The Goldhorn race youth gritted his teeth. The stone-grey armored man ordered solemnly, you can leave. Yes, elder. The Goldhorn race youth replied respectfully. Doyen Palace. The stone-grey armored man became a blur and flew out swiftly, heading straight to the Doyen Palace. The human territories were vast. Bug Clan and humans, the two pinnacle races of the universe, had battled for over trillions of years. The Bug Clan had long hidden many agents within the universe countries. The Bug Clan's sole invasion and control ability was simply too terrifying, even human undyings were unable to escape its control. In contrast, with the entire Goldhorn race gathered within Laos world, the Bug Clan would hardly ever get a chance to invade them. Only when some powerful Goldhorn race warriors help in the human wars would they occasionally get a chance to swiftly invade the souls of the Goldhorn race warriors and let them bring them back into Laos world. That way, they would have pawns safely hidden within. Laos world was vast, and with too few bug agents within, their communication reports weren't up to date. Only after Luo Feng had created such an uproar in the sacred city did it attract the attention of one of the pawns, finally confirming Luo Feng's incidents. Their efficiency was extremely low. Luo Feng and the group finally landed at the foot of the Doyen Palace mountain range, after which the group headed towards the palace. At this time, Luo Feng didn't even think about the fact that there would be other races hidden within the Golden Horn race's secret region, hiding to ambush him. This was after all the Goldhorn race's survival area, which even many undyings from humanity didn't know about it. Many undying humans didn't even know of the fact that the Goldhorn race was a subservient race to humanity. If even very few humans knew this, then it would definitely be extremely hard for other races to invade them. Even so, Luo Feng was still very cautious. After all, he was now a supervisor envoy outside. It was actually very common for other races to assassinate geniuses. This was also why he didn't want to expose his strength too much. Defeating Bei Chuang had already gained the attention of the other races. The moment he defeated Bei Qiu, the other races would probably risk it all to kill him. Elder Sai Fan Chi. Luo Feng said, help me request, only if the Doyen agrees to meet me will I enter. Okay. Elder Sai Fan Chi easily entered the Doyen Palace. Luo Feng and the group stood outside as the guards all looked on curiously at Luo Feng and his group. Obviously very few had actually seen a human before. Your Majesty Luo Feng, the Doyen has agreed to see you, enter. The elder's voice resounded in Luo Feng's ears. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, ordering, everybody else stay here, Dylan follow me. Luo Feng brought Dylan and walked through the entrance. All the guards seemed to have received their orders, hence none of them stopped these two. Laos world's temperature is extremely low, the Doyen Palace is even colder. Luo Feng felt like he was walking within the icy cold Demon Note Mountain. Beside them, the palace guards and staff, along with some disciples could be seen. After a while, they arrived in a quiet hall. None of the staff, disciples and guards dared go near this hall. At the entrance stood two undyings, one man and a lady. Human Luo Feng, the Doyen is within. The undying man said. Luo Feng nodded and brought Dylan through to the door, entering the hall. The moment he entered, it was almost like stepping into another space. The outside was completely cut off, leaving only this extremely cold large hall. 10 undyings stood within the hall, all respectful, and above them all sat a Doyen dressed in a star robe that revealed his chest. Sitting there, the space and time had him as the center. His gaze, held within immense endless power, it made others submit immediately. Human Luo Feng greets Goldhorn race Doyen. Luo Feng took a deep bow to express his respect. Dylan did so beside him too. To a universe knight, such a great being, respect was a given. High in the large hall throne, an old man gazed down at Luo Feng, smiling. It's been a long time since I've seen a young human. Your youthfulness is shocking. I cannot believe that you've defeated that child Bei Chuang. Doyen, I did it with great difficulty. Luo Feng said respectfully. He was shocked within. His teacher Tru Yang had once told him that some of the absolute beings of the universe could see how long one had lived just from a glance. Even the eternal beings, those great beings could still see how long they've lived just from a glance. This doyen had probably seen that he had only lived for about 300 years. Indeed, a doyen stationed in Sacred City is this powerful. Luo Feng was shocked. The Gold Horn race has many doyens. Those that are able to be stationed here must be extremely powerful. Have you studied the sacred tablet? The doyen gazed down and smiled, asking, almost like he was asking his own disciple. Yes, its benefits were huge. Thank you for giving me the chance. Luo Feng said respectfully. A carefree laughter resounded within the hall. The doyen smiled, little punk, from what I understand, you walk the same path as our great leader, Shiluo Duo, spirit reader, and a combination of gold and space laws. The sacred tablet would indeed have great benefits for you. Luo Feng bowed, obediently listening to the doyen's words. Do you wish to study it again? He looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was embarrassed. The sacred tablet has great benefits for my law comprehension. Saying I don't wish to do so would be a lie. Ha ha, I'll give you another chance, little punk. If you can unleash the Nanshan armament's 9th level before you reach Undying, you'll have another chance to study it. The doyen smiled, and if you successfully break through to Undying, you'll get another chance. The time will be the same as this time. Luo Feng was stunned. Whether you can go study it again depends on your ability. The doyen smiled. Thank you, doyen. Luo Feng thanked him respectfully. Ha ha. The elder laughed carefree. These 2 chances have their own requirements. If your talent and abilities are insufficient, entering the sacred tablet tower would be a disgrace to Shiluo Duo. Luo Feng was shocked within. This Gold Horn race doyen, stationed within the Doyen Palace, was a powerful universe Knight level being. Yet, he was extremely friendly to him, giving him a chance to study right up front, and even giving him a free chance to pick any manual. Right? This doyen, he probably saw that I defeated Bei Chuang, hence he noticed me more. Luo Feng understood immediately. He initially gave me the chance to study the tablet and pick a free manual. However, the 2 extra chances he's giving me, even though they have their requirements, however, if I cannot reach these requirements, he probably wouldn't even be bothered with me. The doyen were the highest group of beings in the Gold Horn race. Even Emperor-level Undyings, these doyens wouldn't be bothered. Human geniuses were the same. However, Luo Feng and Bei Chuang's battle had resulted in Luo Feng's detailed information being passed on to this doyen. He swiftly determined that Luo Feng's ability was shocking, hence he was so friendly. The timing of one's attitude meant everything. Luo Feng was only a small being now. For the doyen to be so courteous, Luo Feng would naturally be grateful. If Luo Feng were to become an absolute being in humanity in the future, it would be much harder for him to make Luo Feng feel grateful then. After ending his greeting of the doyen, Luo Feng, Saifan Chi and Dylan left the Great Hall. The other Undyings all stepped out with them. Human Luo Feng. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. The one speaking was a man in a loose robe. His appearance was similar to that of the doyen before. And you are? Luo Feng looked at this person. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this is the official level Undying 2Ka Luo. Elder Saifan Chi smiled beside and introduced. Elder 2Ka Luo is the doyen's son, and the only one amongst his sons to become an Undying. Ah. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. 2Ka Luo said indifferently, Human Luo Feng, the Bei Chuang you defeated, along with his brother Bei Chiu, they are both my disciples. Luo Feng was stunned. The Bei Ji brothers' teacher. I have nothing to say about you defeating Bei Chuang. I can only compliment you. 2Ka Luo looked disdainfully at Luo Feng. However, my disciple Bei Chiu has challenged you. Yet, why have you not accepted it? He's been sitting outside your living quarters for 3 months, without any answer. Even if you reject him, you have to show some respect to our Gold Horn race. Luo Feng smiled. Elder 2Ka Luo, so you are the Bei Ji brothers' teacher. Honestly, it was already very difficult for me to defeat Bei Chuang. I heard from Elder Saifan Chi that Bei Chiu was more than 10 times stronger than his brother. I have no confidence at all. Naturally, I wouldn't accept the challenge and lose outright. So you admit defeat? 2Ka Luo seemed stunned. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Right. I'm currently no match at all for Bei Chiu. I can only go train and get stronger before accepting his challenge. As for my actions, it's mostly because I've been scared away by the huge group of youths constantly challenging me. I hope you can understand. 2Ka Luo stared wide-eyed at Luo Feng. He was the only one amongst the Doyen's sons to reach undying. Over a long period of time, all of the Doyen's family had already passed on, leaving only him. Even though he was only an official level undying, due to his special status, his position was very high. The incident with the Beiji brothers had made him very dissatisfied with Luo Feng. However, he didn't dare make a scene before his father. Now that they were out of the hall, however, he wanted to pick a bone with Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng admitted defeat. He simply gave up, admitting he wasn't a match for Bei Qiu. What could he do? You? 2Ka Luo blinked a couple of times. When I'm stronger and I have the confidence, I will definitely challenge Bei Qiu when I come here. As for now, I'm seriously too weak. Luo Feng bowed. Elder 2Ka Luo, if there are no other matters, I'll leave first. 2Ka Luo could only nod. Luo Feng brought Dylan and Saifan Qi and left. This? 2Ka Luo stood there for a while, speechless. Luo Feng walked within the Doyen Palace and bumped into the Beiji brothers who had returned to the palace. Human Luo Feng, please accept my challenge. Bei Qiu stood before Luo Feng. I have matters to attend to, please make way. Luo Feng said. Beside him, Dylan released his undying energy. That powerful force immediately brushed aside Bei Qiu like sweeping. Luo Feng, Dylan and Saifan Qi swiftly left after. You? Bei Qiu was so angry he gritted his teeth. Luo Feng walked through the winding paths of the palace, thinking within, now that I've studied the tablet and acquired the Nanshan 36 levels, it's time to leave. At most I'll pay a visit to the Pagoda tribe and return to the Milky Way after. Later on, I'll have to exchange points for the 10,000 soul control, but it's extremely expensive. However, in order to control the mother nest, it's worth it. I'll train on Earth for a while, and after I completely control the mother nest, I'll head over to Primal Chaos City. There I'll train for a while. I have quite a few chances to study the 9-universe tablet that I can use. Virtual Universe Company core members all had the privilege of entering Primal Chaos City. When they first join at universe level, they had a free 30-year chance. That was Luo Feng's first time. At Domain Lord level, they had another free chance to study there for 300 years. At Sector Lord level, they had another free 3,000-year chance. These were all given. A privilege for the core disciples. Also when they enter Primal Chaos City, even though at Domain Lord level they are given 300 years free, Luo Feng could totally train for 500 years, or even 1,000 years. The only price was the excess time required points. The longer they stayed there, the more points it required. If one had enough points, it was possible to stay in Primal Chaos City for hundreds of thousands of years. The moment their points were finished, Primal Chaos City would force Luo Feng to leave. Luo Feng thought about his future as he left the Doyen Palace with Dylan and Elder Saifan Qi. Your Majesty. The 5 sector lords and Kashna welcomed him. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Your Majesty, human Luo Feng. Your Majesty, human Luo Feng. A very passionate voice resounded. Luo Feng looked up. In the distance a blur silhouette swiftly flew over, condensing about 10 m away from Luo Feng. It was a stone-grey armored man. His eyes seemed like red jewels. They looked at Luo Feng and smiled. I'm called Kebu. Kebu. Elder Saifan Qi shouted, shocked. Elder Saifan Qi. The stone-grey armored man bowed slightly to express his respect. Luo Feng looked curiously at the elder. The elder smiled. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this is the elder Kebu. He's an undying from the Tuoyang tribe. He's participated in the wars with humans several times. He has quite a few human friends. Ah? Luo Feng looked at the undying Kebu. When I was in Sacred City, I heard about your Majesty's events. I didn't dare disturb you all this while. Now that you are about to leave, I decided to come send you off. The stone-armored man smiled. It's truly a happy occasion for me to see a human in my hometown. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Where have your Majesty gone in Laos world? The stone-armored man smiled. Just Sacred City. Ah, the Pagoda tribe too. Luo Feng replied. Ah. Elder Kebu said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, the home of the Goldhorn race, Laos world, has an incredibly ancient history with many mysterious places that may have benefits to your training. Have you never gone to those places? Which special spots are there? Luo Feng asked without too much interest. As Laos world was a constructed vast continent, and not truly a naturally formed entity from the universe, even if there were any treasures left behind by any warrior of the Goldhorn race, it would have long been swept up. Elder Kebu realized that Luo Feng didn't have any interest, he couldn't help but be shocked within. My master told me to risk it all to kill this Luo Feng. However, beside him he has a human undying guard and Sai-Fan Chi. Their powers far exceed mine, and as long as they are here, I have no hopes of killing him. If I cannot make him stay here in Laos world, I would probably never have a chance. After one's soul is invaded, they become completely loyal to their owners. The master's command was the most important. They wouldn't even care about sacrificing their lives. Our Goldhorn race has a rule that the moment one reaches universe level, they have to leave their tribe and train outside. Elder Kebu said. Hence, in the wastelands of Laos world, there are a few shrines built by undyings that would absorb the exceptional youths outside. Our Goldhorn race encourages a few powerful beings to head to these shrines, and thus make the youths all excited to actually leave their tribes and train. Luo Feng laughed. Over an extremely long time, some great beings leave behind things when they fall. We elders naturally won't go and purposely search for these treasures. Kebu laughed. As for the other undyings, it's completely impossible for them to search the entire Laos world, thus creating many miraculous places. Also, in order to raise the strength of our Goldhorn race undying and normal people, we've built a few sacred land-like places. The sacred tablet is after all only for gold and space warriors, the other warriors that comprehend other laws have their own special places. Luo Feng shook his head. I have no interest. There's one place that would be a waste if your majesty doesn't visit. Kebu's wrist quantum computer suddenly shot out a projection in mid-air. On it was a simple picture. Here. This is a place where human warriors definitely have to go when they visit. Luo Feng, who had been very casual all this while, blinked at the picture. His heart shuddered as his eyes gleamed. He stared hard at the image on the picture. How can this? Huge waves erupted within Luo Feng's mind. The image on the picture was a huge statue in the canyon of a mountain. The entire statue was a huge lizard-like beast with a single horn. That formless pressure made everyone shudder within. That's it. Beast God. It's a statue of the beast god. Luo Feng stared hard at the picture. A few miraculous encounters on Blood River continent had made Luo Feng aware of an incredibly ancient era, back when the absolute powers of the virtual universe company had clashed with a terrifying beast god of Blood River continent over and over. Even though he hadn't personally seen the beast god, he could still feel its terrifying power. It far exceeded the golden horned beast and the Huisuo beast. Elder Kebu noticed Luo Feng's expression and immediately smiled. This is an incredibly special place in our Goldhorn home. It's also where the great warriors of humanity would almost all go. Beast God Canyon. Beast God Canyon. Luo Feng looked at Elder Kebu. The Goldhorn race called this statue the Beast God too. Our race's greatest being Doyen, Shiluo Duo, had once said that his studies all came from the comprehension gained from this statue. The elder exclaimed. Back then, he even said that as long as anybody can comprehend this huge beast god statue, then that person's power would raise similar to his own. Luo Feng shuddered. Power similar to Shiluo Duo's level. Shiluo Duo, that was the greatest leader of the entire Goldhorn race. He single-handedly established the entire race. How powerful was he? And because Doyen Shiluo Duo said that. Kebu sighed. Over the trillions of years, countless people of our race have gone to study the statue. However, none have discovered any mysteries. Even the Doyens, I've never heard of any that have comprehended this statue. Even the great beings of humanity, those that come here all specially come to study the statue, wanting to comprehend it and have power as strong as Shiluo Duo. However, I haven't heard of any that have comprehended it. Of course, there may have been some among humanity that have comprehended it without announcing it. Luo Feng was stunned. So, the greatest leader of the Goldhorn race, Shiluo Duo, he got his power from comprehension of the beast god statue. Elder Sai-Fan Chi, is there such a thing? Luo Feng looked at the elder beside. Sai-Fan Chi nodded, smiling as he shook his head. However, over countless years, other than the great Shiluo Duo, there hasn't been anyone else who has comprehended the statue. Even I, looking at it, I feel as though it's a normal statue, and there is nothing special about its structure. I cannot understand it at all. There's even been a Doyen that made a suggestion to slice open the statue to see if there's anything special hidden within. Of course, out of respect for Shiluo Duo and belief in his words, they forbade such an action. However, no one could make anything of it. Saifan Chi shook his head. Luo Feng was shocked. Saifan Chi was an emperor-level undying, a powerful being who was able to teleport. If placed in the Ganwu universe country, probably only the Ganwu universe country leader would be stronger than him. For such a being, even he couldn't make anything of the statue. Bring me there. Luo Feng said immediately. The Yunmo planet ship left the sacred city and headed towards Beast God Canyon. Your Majesty, for you to bring me along to Beast God Canyon, thanks. Within the control room, the stone-grey armored Elder Kebu said. It's nothing. Luo Feng looked at the vast land outside. You wanted to go visit a friend there too, right? It's convenient, we can just go together. After which Luo Feng turned and returned to his resting chambers. Dylan stayed in a room right beside Luo Feng's to protect him. Right now there's no chance at all. This Dylan keeps following him, and his undying energy is wrapped around Luo Feng all the time as a warning device. Kebu looked at Dylan's back, thinking within. However, there's no rush. After we reach Beast God Canyon, the strong there are numerous as the clouds, there'll be a chance. The canyon wasn't too far from the sacred city. After flying in the Yunmo planet ship for close to a month, they reached their destination. In the air along the continuous mountain range, a blood-colored triangular ship slowed down swiftly and floated there. The cabin door opened. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the group out of the ship and kept the ship within his internal world. Your Majesty, Luo Feng. Elder Saifan Chi pointed into the distance. That is Beast God Canyon, the Beast God statue is there. Luo Feng looked over, faintly making the blurred silhouette within the canyon. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. They instantly flew over tens of thousands of kilometers. Luo Feng and the group floated above the canyon. So many Gold Horn race clansmen. Luo Feng looked at the clansmen all training along the caves of the canyon. There were even more in the vast land below them. Hence, he couldn't help but be shocked. As Shiluo Duo had said before, as long as one can comprehend this statue, they would have powers as strong as his. Hence countless of our warriors gather here. Kebu pointed below and smiled. Look, that 3,000 kilometers tall shrine is a Doyen shrine, it's specially built here to protect the statue. Luo Feng could see the majestic shrine below. However, compared to the Beast God statue, the shrine looked ordinary. The huge Beast God statue there laying like it's in sleeping form, its entire body length with its tail, is about 10,000 kilometers. Kebu explained. Luo Feng swiftly descended and flew towards the statue. He landed on the ground and looked up at the enormous Beast God statue. He had acquired a Beast God statue on Blood River World before. However, that was much smaller. Also, his own statue was one of the Beast Gods standing on all four legs and raising its horn upwards and howling. This one, however, was about 10,000 kilometers, and depicted the Beast God laid out, closing its eyes and sleeping. Every scale was incredibly clear. What terrifying pressure. It's simply a lifeless statue, yet it makes me feel like I'm facing that ancient pressure. Luo Feng looked at the sleeping Beast God statue, and held his breath. Your Majesty, not even the Undyings or Doyens have managed to study and comprehend any of the wonders of this statue. Elder Saifan Chi sighed as he landed beside. No one can understand it. I don't understand it too. Luo Feng frowned and said softly. Right? He couldn't see through it at all. The little statue that he got, the golden horned beast, could study its tearing sky claw, and he could feel the god within. With the mysterious energy emanating and the image of the Beast God itself, it allowed the golden horned beast to keep improving and reaching breakthroughs. This majestic huge Beast God statue, however, Luo Feng was very clear that they were both Beast Gods. Other than the terrifying pressure, he couldn't feel anything else. There must be some secrets that Shiluo Duo wouldn't casually leave behind this statue and fool his clansmen for trillions of years. Luo Feng stared up at the statue. I'll compare it with my little statue and see what's the difference between them. I'll start from every single scale. At this time, it wasn't just Luo Feng, not just the Goldhorn clansmen. There were other absolute human warriors about, trying hard to understand this huge statue before them. Part 1 end here.